game. All right, so we're going to be jumping straight into that Axe and Jake. Ground zero in blue for Kitten in orange. Day 2 is officially underway.
Yeah, we can be incredibly biased casters here, no differing opinions at all. And Ground Zero almost starting off very strong with a nice attempt there by Torsos.
There is one thing, though, that does worry me when it comes to Ground Zero, and that's how they did start off that fall split, because they weren't that #1 team straight away. In fact, it was really not until that third regional where it felt like Ground Zero was back on form, although with that double touch right there, Amphis perhaps is looking on form already today.
Yeah, Amphis possibly surprised that he got that there. Banana Head just struggling to make that read, and impressive by Amphis to just see that coming.
Yeah, a little bit of a shocker right there for Kitten. The defense already letting one through, and for a team like Ground Zero, when they get that lead, they can be a very, very strong. Amphis already taking shots. Banana Head able to use that top post for the save, and it will clear the ball back the other way. However, for Kitten, I don't think they were expecting that touch straight away. Now they have a chance for a double. The second touch from Super Lucky is not through.
And you can see Express trusting those mechanics, possibly that overseas experience, helping him just, be more ready for those kind of plays in defense.
And that is something that I think is worth talking about, was in terms of how these Oceanic teams played at the major. From both Ground Zero and from the Renegades, we saw them play a lot more defense.
Oh, that's it?
We might be accustomed to. Where was the defense there?
I'm not sure. Torsos just noticing the opportunity, and that's 2 goals that Forkidden really shouldn't have been giving up. It's a disappointing start for them.
This is a very disappointing start, I have to feel like, for Kitten right now. 2 goals, and 2 of them with kind of open middle of the field right now. For Kitten, when they did beat Ground Zero back in that fall split, it kind of came from that offensive pressure, if I remember correctly. They didn't really play on the back foot that often. It was a very sort of up and down the pitch style game, but right now it's kind of all Ground Zero just driving it through their throat.
Yeah, it's been the story of Forkidden. They want to get that consistent, aggressive playstyle working, but it's been difficult for them. We saw it not flowing as smoothly as it needed to against Direwolves, and if it's not working against Direwolves, you're going to have to really up a step or two to be able to beat Ground Zero playing like that.
And I was talking before about how Ground Zero kind of had that slow start in the fall split. I mean, you could arguably say the same thing about Forkidden as well, where they would start off, even on individual days, they would start off sometimes, it would be a fast start, but then sort of a slow peter off towards the end of the event. And they didn't really get the results they were looking for until much later in the fall split. So it could be another slow split for them if they can't get this victory against Ground Zero, as already Ground Zero, they do appear to be the team that's more in control.
Yeah, Ground Zero, they've had problems of their own as well, struggling with longer breaks. They're certainly giving maybe a few more opportunities for Forkidden, but Forkidden aren't just quite able to close them yet.
That said, it is for Kitten, and I feel like they just need that one opportunity, right? That one moment where they're gonna pull something crazy. Banana Head, obviously a player to watch out for when given space to work with, but that space just not being allowed. Ground Zero playing so suffocating when on the attack, although maybe we get to see something here from Forkidden. They're having a peek, but already Express has found Amphis across that middle of the field. Torsos will follow it through. We get that second touch, we get that goal, and Ground Zero is on a next level.
Yeah, beautiful here. Just Amphis teeing it up for Torsos. Torsos somehow dodging both players trying to bump him in the air, and Ground Zero starting this series out strong.
So if we were to take that goal and put it in yesterday, where would that one rank on the top 3 plays of the day? Because I feel like that one was very similar to that #1 goal we saw just, 24 hours ago, except that one was in traffic.
Yeah, no, just yesterday, everyone's kind of warming up. We're expecting plays to get better and better as the day goes on and as the stakes rise.
Yeah, and we are seeing, well, the stakes being risen, I suppose, for Kitten. 3 goals down, just over 100 seconds remaining in this opening game. Haven't seen realistically any offensive pressure from this orange side just yet, although Banana Head was cheating forward, trusting in Super Lucky to get that pass. But Express just sitting back in the box, able to play defense. Aggressive play by Scrub will be shut down by Torsos.
Yeah, Ground Zero, they're giving away slight chances, but they're always very quick to close them up as soon as they can. So for Kitten, we really need to see them playing that fast, aggressive style if they want to punish these mistakes.
Yeah, and yet you see in that play right there, they're sitting back. They're waiting for Ground Zero to come to them, and although it's happening at perhaps, the middle of the pitch as opposed to their own back half, it's not that same fast-paced, aggressive Forkidden that we saw just one split ago. So definitely a little bit of a worrying start. What a redirect from Express. 4-0 right now. Ground Zero are taking game one under lock and key.
Yeah, Express somehow getting the crazy forward kind of momentum there on the ball. Just really beautiful touch, and Ground Zero working really well at passing to each other forward on the field.
And it's not just, you know, the usual suspects, I suppose. Typically, you'd expect Express to be the one on more of that back end playing setup, but even Express is now starting to play a bit forward and kind of helping the rest of the team out. Under a minute remaining for Kitten. They're going to be dropping this opening game, and I feel worried if I'm a Forkidden fan, I suppose, in this type of situation, because if they were going to beat Ground Zero, they really needed that fast start.
Yeah, we talked about how the best of 5 might be advantageous for them, you know, being able to possibly cause an upset, but now it's going to kind of work the other way. They have less time to try and figure things out and bring it back after this, you know, first game loss.
As we do see more attacking pressure coming by Ground Zero to perhaps end this one out. Ball across the box. Banana Head will find it first, but with no one cheating up the pitch, Ground Zero will cool, calm, and collectively take that possession back. Ball hits the ground. 1-0 series lead for the defending region champs.
Yeah, and just outside of that wildcard series, Ground Zero still just looking like their old selves, if not better. I'm sure this team used to rely quite heavily on their, you know, mechanical abilities, just outclassing the other teams around them. But I'm sure that didn't work quite as well overseas. It feels like they've incorporated a bit more teamwork and passing into their playstyle.
But it's that passing with the mechanics. I mean, yes, these passing plays were amazing, but they weren't, you know, your straightforward passes. They still had to pull off the aerial touch or the insane backwards redirect in order to kind of put those goals together. And you can almost call it the best of both worlds. But for me, the biggest standout stat, I believe, in this one actually was the fact that Forkidden got a few more shots on target than you would initially expect when looking at it. I believe they were only like 3 or 4 shots down against Ground Zero, yet Ground Zero just looked like they dominated that entire game.
Yeah, Ground Zero, their defense was a bit scrambly. You can see it there, kind of deciding to sit back, giving Forkidden small chances, but they were always rotating back very quickly and very lethal on that counterattack, as we can see in the highlights.
Yeah, it was incredibly lethal. This goal right there from Torsos, though, again, finding that second touch amidst the traffic, only to be followed up by Express getting everything on that. Oh my goodness, I'm a little disappointed that wasn't over, you know, 100 kilometers per hour. It was still only in 2 digits, so I'm not sure we can give it that A++ grade. However, if Ground Zero is playing like this, I think everyone in that lower bracket has to be on notice.
I think everyone already was, because we know this is what Ground Zero can come up with. It's really up to Forkidden to step up, to match these kind of mechanics, this kind of play style, and to get some wins on the board.
Yeah, we'll see if they're going to be able to turn things around on that Forkidden side. It will be Ground Zero with that opening possession here in game number 2. Banana Head wasn't able to get across that midfield line, and second attempt from Scrub as well is stifled. And now here comes Amphis, a little cheeky musty into a dunk attempt. Doesn't get that goal, but Ground Zero is still on the hunt.
Yeah, not quite the goal, but you can see it's very threatening, but that one almost going in somewhat randomly, but Express getting away with that slight misposition.
Yeah, nearly was able to find it there, and now Forkidden actually gets to be on the attacking half. Didn't get to see too much of this in game number 1. Scrub's just going to put shots straight on, try and force Ground Zero to burn some of that precious boost. Leads to a shot attempt from Banana Head, but no contact made with the ball.
I really can't tell if Ground Zero like this kind of defense, because it certainly feels risky, and there finally punishes them. Torsos getting a little too fancy in the air, and Super Lucky just dunking it.
Yeah, very, very fortunate play for Forkidden, and they finally get themselves a goal on the board, and first lead of the series coming at an opportune time. Torsos, though, off this kickoff as it looked. Scrub was able to fall back at that last possible moment. The fabled Ground Zero kickoff. I'm just going to straight up, you know, ask your opinion on this one, Jake, because coming into this season, everyone always talked about, self-included, how great that Ground Zero kickoff is. Do you feel it's already lived up to the hype, or is it just not quite at the same level as RLCS Season X?
I mean, it's tough. Everyone kind of learns, right, how to deal with it. There was that big improvement, players learning the faster kickoff flips to even things out. And to also us kind of getting a goal, again, almost out of nowhere here with Forkidden having people back. But it looks like Express just, I think it was Amphas actually as well, just bullying that poor Forkidden player in the net.
It was like, you know, cattle dogs or sheep herding dogs herding sheep right there, where Express just sort of kind of hurdled them right into Amphas, who found that massive bump, and that's what turns into the goal. Good teamwork out of Ground Zero, and if you are sort of able to shepherd your opponents like that and control their defensive positions, well, that's only going to mean good things moving forward. Again, Ground Zero on that attacking half for Kitten. Again, being that defensive team being shepherded around. The fake from Banana Head creates some space. That's two Ground Zero defenders hitting each other, but Express recovers and makes the defensive play.
And you know what? It might be a bit of a weakness for Kitten. Kitten actually missing a bit of a chance there. We saw yesterday against Direwolves. Direwolves were demoing them a lot, getting a lot of goals out of that. And Ground Zero certainly like that play style as well. So they got to be a bit careful just leaving one person back.
I think that is something that I've noticed with Ground Zero that's sort of been an immediate switch for them. They seem to have gotten a lot more physical already in this winter split, particularly when the game starts to get a bit longer and these points get a bit more drawn out. Ground Zero get more and more physical as the play progresses, and we're starting to see that a little bit in this series as well, as Ground Zero's on the attack. Keep your eyes open perhaps for a bump or a demo play to open the doorway, as Banana Head instead will actually dribble it back to the blue side of the field.
Yeah, both teams missing their fair chance of counterattack opportunities. There's not too much time left, only 2 minutes left now, so each goal will be very important, whoever scores it next.
Scrub just kind of puts one towards the net, having a little peek, saying how you doing, and the end result is Ground Zero just taking the possession straight away. Amphas is going to have to corner this, looks for the second touch, doesn't find it. That can open a doorway for Banana Head, actually. He's already on that backboard, pass back over to Scrub, who looks to play setup, a good dunk, but the defense is already there.
Yeah, but you can see they're starting to get a bit boost stuff now. Forkidden setting up the pressure, plenty of boost on their side, but feels like the mechanics of Ground Zero are managing to get these clears, but flip resets, mechanics, they're coming out of Forkidden to try and pressure this Ground Zero net, and there it is from Scrub.
Eventually something was going to have to break, and that ball was held on top of the net for so long. Scrub with the double touch, Banana Head with the bump onto Torsos. It all comes together for Kitten with a late lead here in game number 2.
And like we said, very important goal. Now the pressure is on Ground Zero. They need something quick, and honestly, a lot of these goals have been Forkidden being a bit sloppy on defense, so it's up to Forkidden to tighten that up now.
Yeah, we'll see if they're going to be able to find a way to not let balls roll directly across the middle of the field into the net. You'd think that would be the easiest thing to defend, but even against Ground Zero, you know, those simple defensive plays be difficult.
Ooh.
Scrub with the dunk, Scrub with the goal, and now it's a 2-point cushion.
Yeah, Express being a little too greedy here, trying to go for a bit of a dribble, and Scrub was having absolutely none of it, dunking it into the net.
And now, all of a sudden, Jake, I think we got a series on our hand for Kitten. Just pulling that, you know, cheeky little coin flip. Game 1 may have flipped up tails, but now they're playing a bit more to what we were hoping to see from the squad.
Yeah, and now it's kind of flipped back. Now the advantages of the shorter best of 5 could be apparent, but not if Amphas tries to tie it up, but looks like he couldn't get it. Ground Zero, they really need a goal very soon to stay in this game.
That they do, and it's that much more difficult when you're on your own back half. Banana Head's touch, though, kind of which dished right down to Express, and that's going to open up the floodgates. Ground Zero sending all 3 members forward, and one touch from Scrub sends them all reeling back for Kitten. Half a minute to go, 2-point lead. They may have tied this series up.
Yeah, it feels like this game could either go 3-all or 6-1 to Forkidden, because Ground Zero is certainly pushing forward, but Forkidden just playing that pressure, playing that boost starving game, and it's looking like they've done what they've needed to lock this game out.
I believe they've done it, Jake. We do have ourselves a proper series. It is, and will always be my firm belief that a sweep 3-0, 4-0, that's not a real series. That's just an exhibition of one team styling on their opponents. No, here at day 2 of RLCS Winter, we get real series and deliver them to you, tying it up for Kitten, now sitting 1-1 with Ground Zero.
Well, like we said, every single match today should be very exciting, very close, as long as both teams are playing well. And for Kitten, certainly bouncing back from those defensive mistakes we saw in Game 1. They shut out that offense coming out of Ground Zero, and very solid 3-1 victory here.
Yeah, I mean, look at the shot differential in game number 2. 12 shots out of Forkidden, only 5 from Ground Zero. Game number 1, Ground Zero was pushing close to 15, so a complete turnaround right there. The possession, the tempo, it was all for Kitten in game number 2, and if we have ourselves that tennis match, that real back and forth affair, this series can get very interesting very quickly. And to go back to the overall sort of scope of everything, losing out in this round would be a bit of a disaster realistically for either of these teams, but it will make life so much more difficult for Ground Zero, I feel like, who are coming into this winter split with that expectation to still be a top 2 team.
Yeah, well, and with that goal of reaching the major, points have reset, so an early 8th finish, that's going to be very difficult to recover from. So Ground Zero certainly going to be feeling the pressure now, and like we said, for Kitten also, they want to repeat that at least top 2 run from the last regional, so they have high expectations on themselves as well.
Yeah, I still think it's crazy that we are getting this matchup in the lower bracket round 2. Essentially 7th, 8th is the final position of the team that comes up short here today. And with talks of, for Kitten possibly being that team that's rivaling Riot for number 3, Ground Zero being that team that's rivaling the Renegades for number 1, it's a loss in this situation that can sort of almost tarnish an entire split, at least in terms of the standings. It's going to be that much more difficult to recover from. So yes, it's a best of 5. Yes, it's early in the event, but the implications are just as massive as any other game today. So with Ground Zero dropping a game, really going to want to see him turn it back around and get that momentum back in their favor.
And Amphis would have loved to have hit that shot, but not getting quite the connection he needed. Banana Head on the counterattack. You can see Ground Zero, they're starting to panic a little bit in defense. Some cracks starting to show.
Yes, it was a little sketchy to start off this 3rd game, but things starting to kind of calm down a little bit more now. Torsos kind of stops the reset before it happens, and that will allow Amphis try to get some pressure back across that middle of the field. Express will go up for the ball, has Torsos underneath, instead keeping it themselves as Forkidden starts to play forward, starts to challenge on that blue side of the field. This is the Forkidden that we want to see. It's the Forkidden that has given Ground Zero trouble in the past.
Yeah, Forkidden certainly controlling the early parts of this game. Ground Zero, we just haven't been able to see that consistent pressure coming out of them just yet. And Forkidden getting players forward. Banana Head not able to be the 3rd man to finish that play, but promising signs from Forkidden.
Super Lucky almost got that reset through. That could have been massive, as this time Super Lucky will let the defense clear it out, not willing to risk it just yet. They'd rather keep that possession, but an errant touch from Scrub, a demo from Ground Zero. Suddenly it's the favorites again in control. Torsos will get the waterfall down underneath. No one is there. The ball gets cleared once again.
Yeah, it's clear. It's kind of back and forth now. Neither team able to set up some pressure. I think that favors Ground Zero, but at the same time, I think Ground Zero would feel far more confident dominating this game.
I think they would as well, and it's kind of raising some of those questions about Ground Zero. Why are they sort of unable to perhaps finish a couple of these tighter games off? Game 1 looks so good for them. Game 2 and 3, thus far, a bit more of a struggle. Granted, still plenty of time left in this one. Forkidden do have that ball on the blue side of the pitch. They are applying that pressure. Banana Head gets over 1, but can't quite get over the 2nd. Amphis was already cheating forward. Scrub runs disruption. Amphis maintains possession, has Torsos, but Banana Head will shut it down.
You can see how hungry Ground Zero are to push players forward, but it might be to their detriment. Massive miss from both players there. Torsos missing a wide open net.
Oh, that is going to be a painful one unless Torsos can find redemption here. Looking for the 2nd touch, just doesn't quite have the angle. Now needs to play setup, but already it is Scrub shutting the play down. Express doing what they can, but Banana Head just waits patiently underneath. Finds the touch in traffic despite the triple commit from Ground Zero. A demo, though, might slow Forkidden down, or it might open a doorway. Not quite there. Amphis pushes it to safety.
You can see Ground Zero still rotating back very quickly, backing themselves mechanically in net, but for Kitten, you can see flip reset after flip reset. They have the mechanics to punish, but it could be a bit of an overcommit here, but no, Scrub gets back in time.
I mean, we've already seen 2 goals like that, right? With the wide open middle of the pitch. Your heart kind of patters a bit when you see it nearly happen again to Forkidden. Instead, they're going to look to drive it back that other way. Express will slow it down. Weird touch again from Scrub. Torsaw's doing what they can, but eventually it is Super Lucky trying to create the space. Neither team really doing well. I love that bump from Anthus, but again, Ground Zero come up just short.
Yeah, Ground Zero playing very aggressively though, really making every chance they can, but Forkidden doing great on defense to cover for those teammates getting bumped.
Oh, it's the 0-0 game, Jake. The greatest game of Rocket League is the 0-0 overtime. Torsos tries to break it up. Instead, hits the backboard, and Banana Head has Scrub, has the net, and that is a late goal for Forkidden. 1-0 lead to the underdogs.
And Ground Zero, they push up too hard. The third man too confident, and Scrub finding himself in the perfect place to get a goal with not much time left on the clock.
I love how you were able to recognize that straight away, too. The moment you saw Scrub was down in the pitch, it was like, oh, this is bad, because all of Ground Zero was on the opposite side, and they just weren't able to get to that play. Now, under a minute to go, the pressure is on that team in blue. They've got to find that late goal, but the ball is already on their defensive half.
Yeah, I think we're going to see Ground Zero pushing forward, but more mistakes out of defense, and Banana Head with a quick punish.
And this is turning into another small disaster for Ground Zero Gaming. They're getting shut out right now for Kitten with the 2-point cushion. It's looking more and more likely they're going to be advancing to match point.
Yeah, and it's not good for Ground Zero. You still back them being the favorites, but once you are on that match point, anything can happen in a single game of Rocket League. So Ground Zero, they desperately need this comeback, but I don't think they have enough time for it.
You know, even if this game continues on its current trajectory and we do see Forkidden winning this series, I'm going to say I made that right choice right now, because I don't want to even hear what Hyperia would be saying in this situation. I'm glad I still got an ally with me. But as it stands, I mean, this is a win well-deserved for Forkidden here in game number 3. They found those late opportunities. They converted on those goals. And more importantly, that defense that looked shaky in game number 1, it's come together as a late flurry of attack from Ground Zero. Once again, looks to be coming up short.
Yeah, Forkidden's defenses come together at the same time that Ground Zero just feel like they're missing their shots. So maybe some of that wild card kind of form creeping back, and they need to figure out what's going on now, because they don't have any more chances left to, drop any more games.
Yeah, it is back against the wall for the defending regional champs. A situation that could see them going out in what would be almost an equivalency of a quarterfinal back in fall split, but in a sense, it's almost like one game back, because it's not even like that 5th to 8th, it's 7th to 8th. It's really not where they want to be, but for Kitten, they are one game away from pulling off a pretty massive upset. And when you sort of look at this lower bracket, it could be their run to get very far in this first regional event.
Oh, and I even forgot about that. Torsos missing that wide open net to start this game off. Yeah, you saw from the stats, Ground Zero getting really low shots, and you can kind of see why. Just not really hitting those mechanical kind of powerful shots that we normally expect out of these guys.
And I don't mean to sound like a broken record here. It just happened to be like one of the games I was able to watch yesterday, but that Ground Zero versus Wildcard matchup felt very similar to this third game, where Ground Zero were creating those opportunities. There were moments where they really were the faster, stronger, more in control team, until it came time to put that ball into the net itself. And there was a lot of misses, for lack of a better word. Sometimes open nets, sometimes a defender would get there at that last possible moment. But it was a case of so close, but never able to finish. And that's what this game 3 felt like to me. And I'm glad the team has been working on their mental. I'm glad that's where they've been looking to improve, because these are the types of times when that mental really does get challenged.
Yeah, they need it now. They're not playing the way they want to. Their mechanics are a little off. They're not quite as clinical, but this kickoff straight away is creating a good opportunity, but Super Lucky from the sky blocking that shot.
Yeah, that was a great save from Super Lucky right there. And Scrub will have to play from that back corner. Look, Jake, I don't want to get too into it, but it has to be kind of on everyone's mind. What happens realistically to Ground Zero's chances to make that Winter Major if they fall up short right here? Because it's going to be a tough climb for them. Fortunately, Torsos is thinking, you know what? We don't want to think about that. We're just going to get our business done, and we'll take the lead finally in game number 4.
And that's good, right? Because they can't afford to think about it right now. It'd be devastating to go out in number 8 there. So Torsos playing very fast, seeing those opportunities and getting that goal that was really eluding them last game.
Yeah, it's a great way to start for Ground Zero. I mean, for Kitten, when they fell behind back in game 1, it did seem like the game fell apart for them. Although, looking at this pressure, looking at this demo, and looking at this goal, I feel like for Kitten aren't even phased.
Yeah, just a 3-man play. Scrub passing to himself off the ceiling and recovering. A demo to add to it. Just a beautiful 3-man play there from Forkidden.
That is ridiculous. That is Harlem Globetrotters-esque right there, for lack of a better way to describe it. It's just they're playing with their food, and it's Forkidden doing that to Ground Zero. And I'm not saying, you know, Forkidden doesn't do this against a lot of opponents, but it's still Ground Zero. Even if they happen to be struggling a bit, it's kind of crazy to see.
Yeah, we didn't really see those mechanics coming out of Forkidden. We saw, you know, Banana Head had a massive 4-split with his mechanics, but it feels like they're just starting to wake up now.
Oh, that's a breakaway.
Right in time. Almost a breakaway. Still a possible chance, but Express doing great to stick close to that one.
Yeah, I love how Express just keeps that ball nice and high, nice and tight against the ceiling, so that if Forkidden were to challenge, they would have no resources to follow up. Although Super Lucky stays deep this time, redirects it. So close to taking the lead. The ball just goes a little wide.
And they're looking so confident. These forward passes, back passes. It feels like this is Forkidden's game to win if they can get that goal they need.
Yeah, they definitely would love to take this series. They would love to make that stamp on the region and say, you know what? These favorites aren't as strong as everyone thinks they are. Maybe chip away at that pedestal. Forkidden has that chance, but Ground Zero, they're still in it. I mean, you've got to finish the job, and we're still sitting just at a tie ball game with Ground Zero on the attack, in fact, although it's a short-lived one. Interesting play from Super Lucky right there. Didn't quite get the touch they were looking for. Banana Head was able to stay back off that backboard. Will find a pass forward. Torsos slowing the pace down. Miss on the bump. That could have been huge.
Wow, very confident there from Torsos going for that dribble. Forkidden trying to punish. Not quite working out just yet, and this is Ground Zero's chance. Can they get some pressure going? It's really felt like it's been all Forkidden ever since they tied it up.
That was weird spacing right there with Torsos and Amphis. Good job from Forkidden to just pop it over the top. Doesn't quite lead it to a shot this time around, but those are those weird sort of positional mistakes, those moments of ring rust, for lack of a better word, that still seems to be plaguing Ground Zero, and this is not the time where those little mistakes need to be showing up. A good second touch from Scrub will slow down the counterattack from Ground Zero. Ball still up for grabs. This time Amphis is the one who's there. Crazy angle out of Banana Head, though, finds that interception. I love how Forkidden just throw themselves at the ball.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't see it yesterday. We haven't seen this confidence coming out of them, but you can see they just look so dangerous once things are flowing. You can see these mechanics. Banana Head going for a big air dribble, faking it out, but Express is there to save the day.
And you can see what he was thinking right there, just waiting for that last second to try and dip it underneath to try and fake out Amphis, but Express from behind, almost in that blind spot, able to steal it away. That could have been massive for Kitten. Perhaps they'll get another chance, though. It is Ground Zero hunting for that lead. Express gets to pass it down, looks for the bump instead. Misses Banana Head, who'll keep it safely in the corner.
Very dangerous there for Kitten, but they get away with it, and a minute left. There's a goal that will probably decide this game, and that's not what Ground Zero want if it's a goal to knock them out in 8.
This is a nightmare scenario for Ground Zero, realistically. Super Lucky over the top. Doesn't find anyone underneath. Ground Zero able to corral it, but Torsos lets it slip.
Oh, great pass.
Can't get there in time. Shot, ball in front of the net. Saved by Express, and Banana Head misses. That could have been it, but we go the other way instead. Super Lucky pushes it to the corner.
Oh, Forkidden are going to be kicking themselves after that. I did not know how Express or Amphis kept that out. Luckily, Forkidden did not get punished on the counterattack. They're actually still looking dangerous, but Ground Zero keeping it out and keeping their tournament hopes alive.
That would have been disastrous for Ground Zero, but that pulse is still beating. They're still looking for that shot. 15 seconds in regulation. Express puts it up. Super Lucky bangs it down to Banana Head, who can't get it past Torsos. Ground Zero will get that shot to end this in regulation. The setup is there. The ball waterfalls down, and Express knocks it through. Ground Zero's taking us to Game 5.
And they look so relieved. Forkidden just stumbling over each other in a beautiful solo effort from there. Express doing it all himself when the team atmosphere is certainly looking a bit awkward for Ground Zero at the moment.
The angle from Express on that one was something to behold. Still, 0 seconds. Maybe Forkidden can pull off something crazy. Super Lucky does have possession of that ball. Amphis goes for the dunk, finds it, and Ground Zero barely squeak out of that one. They're taking it to a Game 5, and Torsos' facial expressions kind of say it all after that.
They have many reasons to be nervous. That really looked like it was game over. It looked like Forkidden had that goal to make it 2-1 with so little time remaining. Somehow keeps it out. Forkidden, they're going to be thinking about that tonight if that's what knocks them out of this tournament.
Absolutely. I mean, Express in particular was the one who made that save, is the one who found that late goal off the backboard as well. Just coming in clutch for the team. You can see that star above his name. Well deserved of the MVP right there. Most ball touches, most saves, tied for the most shots, tied for the most goals. Express really felt like he was putting Ground Zero on his back.
Yeah, but Forkidden, just great performance from them. They've really been shutting out the shots from Ground Zero. Ground Zero coming in with an average of 10 shots. It's felt like it's been hard for them to break 6 in the series at all, game to game. So Forkidden playing very well, and it's come down to this Game 5, and it's really anyone's game to win now.
It absolutely does become up for grabs, and the implications of only 2 teams making it to the major, of only 3 regionals to kind of grab those points, dropping at this stage is so cataclysmic for your chances to get to that next step. Ground Zero, the expectations are the world for them. Forkidden, they were seeing this winter split as their chance to kind of cement themselves as that next strong contender. One of these dreams are going to be realized, I feel like, in this next game. And it's crazy that we're looking at these implications so early, but that's what happens when 2 juggernauts falter in this new format, in this new group stage. Now, they're reaping what they sow for falling up short before, and one of their days, one of their runs is about to be cut completely out of the picture.
Yeah, and Ground Zero feels like far more pressure on them returning from the major. They want to go back. They want to prove themselves some more, but Forkidden looking like they want to do their best to stop that from happening.
Yeah, we'll see if they're going to be able to bring this one back as we watch Torsos cleared across that middle of the pitch. It will be caught by Banana Head. Isn't able to get through Amphis. Super Lucky though finds pressure. The net looks open, and Scrub's already there. Ground Zero not handling the pressure, gives up the first goal.
No, Ground Zero just getting outsped, out mechanics. Express looking a bit confused underneath the ball, and Forkidden very quick to punish that.
Yeah, it was fantastic work right there out of Forkidden. They've got themselves that early lead. 4.5 minutes though, Jake. It's a long time. I feel as if this one's far from over.
This one's certainly far from over, but we've seen Forkidden, when they're feeling confident, when they're feeling good, it feels like they just bring out this new style of gameplay that is able to compete and beat Ground Zero in these moments.
Yeah, it is reminiscent of that Forkidden team from before, and I hate to sound like that broken record, but the more we see Ground Zero force on defense, the more we see Forkidden take the attack to them, the more excited you can get. However, that pass was clean.
Oh,
the net
no.
was there, but Amphis pushes it to the left, and again, Ground Zero come up short.
Almost a beautiful counterattack, but it's still just not quite stitching together for Ground Zero, and it's already looking a little desperate, but I think they just need to take a breather and just realize there's still plenty of time left in this game. Banana Head trying to extend the lead there, but not quite either.
That dribble from Super Lucky was a thing of perfection. Nearly scored though. He is such a shark for the net today, making it a 2-goal lead.
Yeah, Ground Zero, they've been doing this all day, just a little too greedy in their own half, and Scrub just dunking Amphis and extending the lead to 2.
It is funny because you can see the look on their faces. Ground Zero thinking, who has the audacity to try and do that to us? Don't they know we're the defending champs? But it's the team that did it to them at the end of the fall split. It's Forkidden. They don't care who they're against. They're going to take it to you, as we're seeing right here. 3 minutes remaining, 2-goal differential. All the pressure on this Ground Zero's side. Are they going to be able to rise to it? Emphasis rising for this shot, but it isn't able to get on top of it.
I mean, still you can see that those rotations, they're not there for Ground Zero. You'd almost always back someone like Torsos to be there to follow up on that Amphis play, but it's just not quite working as smoothly as we're used to here from Ground Zero.
Not at all, as that's another pass for Scrub. This shot is a little high. Fortunately for Ground Zero, that one does not go in. It could have been the killing blow. Instead, they're going to try to create something on offense. Torsos doesn't like the look, has to redirect himself. Express keeps it alive. Torsos now too far forward, can only hit that one straight in the air, and that will allow Forkidden to jump on it. 50 goes their way, and again, Ground Zero's on the back foot.
Yeah, you can see Torsos being just stuck back, having to be pretty tricky to dribble that out, but that's not where they need to be. They need to get goals, and they can't be stuck in their own half.
Yet this is where they've been for the past minute. For Kitten just showing no quarter at this stage. Even on plays like that, you see 2 members of Forkidden on the Ground Zero backboard, and still Ground Zero isn't able to punish it, because Forkidden, they're taking the resources, they're taking those boosts, they're staying at least one person immediately behind the ball. That angle from Super Lucky, almost enough, from Banana Head, almost enough to end this one. Now it's Super Lucky's turn. It's going to find Scrub, going to keep it just outside the box. The pressure's still there. Banana Head keeps it up, Wall Water falls down. Amphis gets that second touch right over the top of Scrub.
And Ground Zero, they're holding on. A 3rd goal here for Kitten would certainly be the nail in the coffin for Ground Zero, but they're getting their chance. But straight back to the other side, and actually a counterattack. Scrub makes it 3 with 1:20 remaining.
Super Lucky knows how big that goal is. That pop-off was massive, as it is a little bit of a taste of Ground Zero's old medicine. Let's go back to games 1 and 2. Some of those first goals, they looked quite similar, but now we go the other way. 3-0 lead, 80 seconds on the clock for Kitten, on the precipice of pulling off our first upset of the day.
Ground Zero, they need something quick, they need something now. They might have got it. Torsos squishing that one in, and suddenly Kitten can't be feeling as comfortable as they were a few seconds ago.
Yeah, it just takes, how long was that? 9 seconds for Torsos to put one back on the board. 2 goals is a lot, but Ground Zero, one of the best teams in this region. They can pull it off. Only over a minute to do it.
Yeah, only a minute. Ground Zero, it's going to be dangerous for Kitten. They're going to be pushing more forward, more aggressively, and we've seen Ground Zero. They tend to come together as a team in these moments, but it might be too late with only a minute remaining.
I expect them to throw everything in that kitchen sink at Forkidden at about this stage. Amphis fakes out one defender. Torsos gets one bump, finds the second, but the recovery was there. Might not matter though. Express finds Amphis on the backboard, but the touch is a bit too hard. Now Banana Head goes the other way. Ball slowly rolling towards the net. Torsos pushes it to the corner. Yet, we only have a half minute to go.
Yeah, 30 seconds remaining. You can see how dangerous Ground Zero are. They're pushing players forward, and Amphis with a crazy read to make the end of this game exciting.
They're not dead yet, Jake. Ground Zero with a pulse. Ground Zero with a chance. Taking us back within 1. This half minute, so critical already in our first regional. Will Ground Zero be able to find the way? We start off with Scrub with possession, going towards that backboard. If Forkidden keeps the ball here, they probably walk away with it.
Yeah, there's only 20 seconds remaining. Ground Zero, they need something desperate. They do not need that. An own goal is going to let Super Lucky extend it to 2.
What just happened right there? Super Lucky puts it up, and an Aaron touch just spikes that one in. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that, and if that's how Ground Zero fall, it's going to be devastating. The kickoff, it has to be perfect, but Amphis swings and misses. The net is open. Express is there. It might not matter, though. 8 seconds remaining. 2-point differential. Forkidden is going to dethrone the Kings.
Kitten have done it, and they've done it in style. Even a save right at the end to stop that crazy redirect, and Ground Zero out in 7th place, and you can see what it means to Kitten taking out those guys. They know that's what they need if they want to be making the major this split.
Yeah, sighs of relief, I feel like, that they were able to hold on to that one. I mean, Ground Zero did come back swinging. That touch in the corner, I think it's going to haunt Ground Zero for a fair while. For Kitten, pull off the upset in 5. And I mean, again, when you look at this lower bracket, there were 2 teams that we were looking at that could make the run. They were going up against each other first today. All of a sudden for Kitten, if they keep playing at this form, we could be seeing them go the distance.
Yeah, Forkidden just really